Hello and welcome to Non Sequitur News for November 20th, 2024. This is a Time Machine episode. It's Season 3, Episode 325. Today, Mayor Watt is going to talk about the following 10 articles. Canceled Chopsticks, not safe for work traffic signs. Sabrina Carpenter gets freaky. Uploading personal images. Air is leaking from the ISS. AA used AI to save $. Pizza-flavored tomato wine, Hennessy plans to bottle in China, bid on a burnt-out Husk, and hydrogen car woes in California. That one's a quick one because you can't really talk about it. But anyway, I thought it was worth mentioning because I'm a big proponent of hydrogen vehicles. Anyway, everything's powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there. The sentient AI isn't here today. And yeah, this one's going to be a really quick episode because I have to do another one and then we have to prepare for today's real episode. So this is a Time Machine episode that's actually 2 days in the making. So see you in a little bit. All right, folks, let's get going. So SpaceX launched the sixth Starliner. Sorry, Starliner is the Boeing one that leaked like a sieve itself. Anyway, it seems like everything, not SpaceX, is leaking like a sieve. Everything, and the SpaceX ones are blowing up. So anyway, once they land or they're tearing themselves apart during the testing. But we're all learning stuff, right? $100 million each time. So, all right. So SpaceX launched Starship for the sixth time, but canceled the highly anticipated Chopsticks maneuver minutes after liftoff, and that's because it's believed that the antenna at the top of the launch platform was bent and missed communicating with the Starship. So SpaceX launched its Starship mega rocket system on Tuesday for the sixth time. SpaceX didn't attempt the super heavy booster catch using that what they call Chopsticks. So it's this platform that opens up and closes. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty amazing. One of these days, though, it will land on its own. We just need the metallurgy that supports that type of still being light and able to land on its own. But that's not in the works, or it's probably in the works, but it's not in the cards because it's too heavy to get that strength. It just seems like it's too heavy, apparently. Anyway, space company launched the 36-story tall rocket system. That's amazing. It doesn't look like it's 360 feet, but it sure as hell is, apparently. But ended up abandoning that catch. Anyway, the article is sourced from Business Insider, Morgan McFall Jensen, and Kelsey Vlamis put the article together. I think it's amazing that we're in a day and age where we are witnessing launches damn near every day from one solution, one provider or another. I think it's pretty amazing, and I love it. So this is from the original catch, and I've always thought that it's amazing. It actually lands on these two little bars that are sticking out of the side of the rocket body. Pretty amazing. Anyway, the booster actually landed in the ocean and then detonated, and the Starship itself did a quote-unquote soft landing, and then apparently burned up. I don't know what the real outcome is of that. I try not to wound myself by watching the destruction of $100 million worth of equipment. But again, we learn, right? It's all taxpayer dollars, so hey, let's move on, though. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. It's a source from Vice, but cops are searching for a vigilante who installed not safe for work traffic signs in Colorado. The newly installed traffic signs in Boulder, Colorado, reminding drivers to employ safe driving practices, are proving to be as dangerous as all the stuff they warn against. And that's for a couple of reasons, because neither the city of Boulder nor the state of Colorado put those signs there. And two, They contain harsh language that's not only distracting drivers as they pass, but compelling many to take pictures of the signs behind the wheel. Now, here's the thing about it. Stop being a dipshit and taking pictures and being distracted by a sign. A sign shouldn't be distracting. If you're not capable of going, oh, look, I didn't make my exit, I'll drive to the next one and do a loop around the freeway so that I can get back on the other side and then come back around again and make my way to my proper exit. You probably shouldn't be driving, right? If you have to make a 5-lane change from the fast lane to the exit, okay? And that is on par with driving by a road sign that has harsh language. Oh, clutch my pearls. It has harsh language. Yeah, somebody's dicking around with the thing. And don't kill any kids today underneath a speed limit sign of 45 miles per hour. Yeah, the implication is that speeding through a neighborhood beyond 45 miles an hour is going to lead to somebody getting hurt. And that is absolutely possible. So don't do it, right? I mean, what is so hard to just drive by this and not have to slam on the brakes or while you're driving, grab your phone and take a picture? It's not the sign that's the problem. It's the idiocy of the drivers. Boulder police are investigating the offensive traffic signs as criminal tampering. Oh my gosh. Louis Prada over at Vice.com put the article together, and I swear it's just so stupid. Instead of it saying slow children at play, not slow children at play, it's slow children at play. It really should just read children at play in the... You should infer from that statement that you shouldn't race through it like you're a parent. And I was going to make a joke about MKBHD speeding down a thing that had a children at play sign or something like that when he was driving that Lamborghini or whatever it was he was driving. But I haven't watched yet to know if that was in kilometers or if that was in miles per hour. Anyway, another one of the signs reads, slow the F down. Colorado has been awfully profane lately, but that's not really what's going on. Somebody else did it. I thought when it said these road signs, traffic signs, I thought it was going to be the big freeway signs. And that's what gave me the idea of the meeting your exit. But these are just little road signs, for crying out loud. They can pull over and get out and take a picture of it. But no, it's the idiocy that is the problem. It isn't the sign. It's the idiocy. All right, let's move on. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Priest stripped of duties after Sabrina Carpenter got too freaky in his church. Oh my goodness. So an investigation revealed that Monsignor Jamie Gigantiello carried out other instances of mismanagement based on apparently Sabrina Carpenter being allowed to film a music video in the church, ultimately relieving him of duties of any pastoral oversight or governance role as the Williamsburg Church in Brooklyn, according to the Bishop Robert Brennan statement issued by the Roman Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn. Well, I'm glad that they're finally taking a stand against getting too freaky in a church. So this all started last Halloween when Carpenter released a controversial music video for her song Feather, part of which was filmed in the Blessed Virgin Mary Catholic Church in Brooklyn. All right. So the article is over in, it's over at Vice, and Sammy Caramella put the article together, and apparently Sabrina Carpenter is in the picture. They're wearing a shirt that says Jesus was a carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter. Oh, what a funny riff. I don't know. So this all started last Halloween. I can almost guarantee they would not have approved the scenes and script upon review. In the video, Carpenter is seen experiencing harassment by an array of men, all of whom end up being deleted. Yikes. At the end of the video, the singer dances through the church and around the men's colorful coffins. That's risque. I mean, I understand what the implication is, right? But the parish did not follow diocese. It's diocese, but diocesan? Is that how it's pronounced? Diocesan? It sounds interesting. Diocesan. I very rarely use diocesan lexicon. Anyway, policy according to or regarding the film on church property, which includes a review of the scenes and script. So I wonder how fast they produced that. They created that. Like let's get this diocesan policy in place real quick. Anyway, yeah. So they say here at the very end, I wonder if the diocese feels lighter like a feather after letting Gigantiello go. Did they let him go, though? Or is he something less now? He's not the pastor of the, or any governance role. So basically, yeah. Poor judgment. No second chance? Oh, okay. Anyway, let's move on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Experts alarmed by people uploading their medical scans to Elon Musk's Grok AI. Nothing original from this dude. So to celebrate its new image understanding capabilities, Elon Musk has encouraged his followers, Jesus, oh my goodness, to share medical documents like MRI scans and X-rays with Grok, his AI chatbot integrated into the remnants, the burnt out Husk from the very first. Oh, well, we were actually going to end up talking about that burnt out Husk of Twitter. Despite the many baffling privacy implications, many of his fans have done just that. In some cases, they've even shared their results publicly. Now, experts are warning against sharing such information with Grok, echoing security concerns with chatbots at large. Yeah, quit posting your personally identifiable information. This is, it's the same thing that's going to happen with 23andMe, except you won't find out about it because Elon Musk will hide a major breach behind litigation or whatever else when it does happen or if it does happen. And it's always when, not if. So anyway, Neoscope is the section over at futurism.com. And Frank Landemore is the author. The deck statement says this is very personal information and you don't exactly know what Grok is going to do with it. Yeah, nobody knew what 23andMe was going to do with it too. And look, man, they're sharing that information to make money, and they're not living off of the funds generated off of providing the service of DNA testing, because DNA testing, what they sampled everybody for, or what everybody paid for, was their sample to be converted into DNA knowledge, right? Database of knowledge. And that was supposed to be it, but that's way beyond what I think is actually happening. And y'all just don't know it, right? I mean, tranches of information based on the aggregate data has to have been sold, right? Because if you reach a finite number of people that are willing to take the plunge in 23andMe, where's the money coming from? And that's exactly what's going on with this kind of stuff. You have no freaking idea what else is being done with your data, please. So people sharing their medical information with Musk chatbot may be under the impression that it's protected by Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, but the protections enshrined in the federal law, which prevent your doctor from sharing your private info, do not extend beyond the medical purview. And by the way, with the new administration coming into place, who knows what's going to happen, particularly with HIPAA and oversight and whatnot. It's going to get strangled. So this is a stark contrast to when tech companies have official partnerships with hospitals to obtain data, Malin said, which are stipulated with detailed agreements on how that information is stored, shared, and used. It's usually anonymized and in bulk, or special constraints are put on it. So then there are also concerns about how the chatbots themselves use the information, because their underlying large language models rely on the conversations that they have to fine tune their capabilities. And that means that potentially anything you tell one could be used to train the chatbot and consider their proclivity for hallucinating. The risk of one inadvertently blurting out sensitive information is not unfounded. So yeah, I would not be doing this if I were you. All right, let's keep on moving, though. We're going to truck through today's episode, just kind of steamroll it. So the next article is over in the Mobile channel. Air is leaking from the ISS, the International Space Station, and the U.S. and Russia can't agree why. So it's leaking air, and the tensions between the U.S. and Russia appear to be getting in the way of a solution. The article is over at Quartz. Ben Kesslin put the article together, and the two countries don't agree on the severity of the issue, but you would probably want to figure out what the hell it is, right? So, let's see here. Repairs have helped but not solved the problem, the source of which the Russians and Americans can't agree on. Officials from the two countries don't have a common understanding of what the likely root cause is or the severity of the consequences of these leaks, said Bob Cabana, a former NASA astronaut who runs NASA's International Space Station Advisory Committee, according to Ars Technica. Russians believe the cracks are caused by high cyclic fatigue caused by microvibrations, Cabana said earlier this month, and NASA thinks the issue is multi-causal, caused by pressure and mechanical stress, residual stress, material properties, and environmental exposures. They can't seem to agree on how catastrophic the leaks might be. Well, they're going to be catastrophic at some point, particularly if it's stress-based, because it's going to keep on being stressed until it's no longer functional, right? That's kind of how it works. There's going to be enough fatigue where it just implodes. Explodes. The two parties are locked in a stalemate. Russians think it's safe to continue operations of the PRK module, but can't prove it. And Americans think it's unsafe to continue, but can't prove that either. So, hey man, fatalism. Let's keep moving. The next article is over in the Non Sequitur News channel. It's actually sourced from Business Insider, but how Alaska Airlines used AI to save over 1.2 million gallons of jet fuel. Alaska Airlines partnered with Airspace Intelligence to use an AI that suggests flight routes. The tool Flyway's AI platform factors in data such as historical flight traffic, predicted weather. The article, CXO AI Playbook, straight talk from business leaders on how they're testing and using AI. So the article is over at Business Insider, and Matthew S. Smith put the article together. It says 1 out of every 5 flights in the U.S. is delayed by at least 15 minutes. The fundamental problem is that when a human being sits down on to plan a flight, they only have information about their one flight, Pasha Saleh, the head of corporate development at Alaska Airlines, said. To solve that, Alaska Airlines partnered with AI startup called Airspace Intelligence, the creator of Flyway's AI platform, which uses artificial intelligence to suggest optimal flight routes. The partnership started 3 years ago and was renewed in August. Now, half the flights plans reviewed by Alaska Airlines dispatchers include a plan suggested by Flyways. So shouldn't it be based on supply and demand? I'm kind of stymied by this. In theory, that means that air traffic is predictable, but the reality is in the air is that it's more hectic. Saleh said that the air traffic control is often very tactical, not strategic. So he looked at the scenarios, expecting to see something out of Star Trek. Instead, he saw something one generation removed from IBM DOS, Saleh said, referring to an operating system that was discontinued over 20 years ago. Pretty much on the spot, he decided to pivot to airlines because they actually were wanting to use the AI to route self-driving cars. But hell, I thought flight control stuff is darn near powered by whatchamacallit, powered by floppy disks. Anyway, airlines are very unionized environments. So we want to make sure that this isn't seen as a threat to dispatchers as well. Alaska Airlines used dispatcher feedback to hone flyways. Interesting. So, I mean, it's humans that are doing flight control stuff, but in reality, it could be a computer. If the AI is dynamic enough and understands all of the inputs, it could lead to automation. And this is going to be seen as a solution, not to make flight control channels easier. It's going to be seen as a way to lower the price. And so they've already saved $1.2 million million gallons of jet fuel, which translates into probably tens of millions. Because I don't know what the average cost of jet fuel is nowadays. Probably $100 a gallon. So airlines are very unionized. So the AI in action, Flyways trains on its AI algorithm on historical flight data at its most basic level. This includes information like a flight's scheduled departure and arrival, actual departure, arrival, and its route. So did it work? Dispatchers accept 23% of Flyways recommendations. While that might seem low, those accepted routes helped reduce Alaska Airlines fuel consumption by more than 1.2 million gallons in 2023 alone. I think that's pretty amazing. All right. Well, and that's great. But it's going to be self-referential, right? So the more that they follow those routes, the more limited those options, the number of options are to end users. So let's keep moving them. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. No one outwines the Hut. Pizza Hut launched a pizza-flavored tomato wine. Pizza Hut just announced a limited edition tomato wine, and the author here doesn't know how they feel about it or how to feel about it. Look, a very small, very extra large piece of their heart belongs to Pizza Hut. Haha, pizza jokes. As it was the only late night pizza joint that their college town had, but it might be Shane might be pushing their luck with this one. So it's over at Vice once more. Sammy Caramella put the article together. And the deck statement says, I'll be the first to say that wine pairs well with pizza and really anything if you put your mind to it. So yeah, it says a revolutionary culinary wine crafted from perfectly ripened tomatoes harvested at the peak of sweetness. Our master vintners have coaxed bright notes of herbs, creating a savory yet sweet experience. Wow. That challenges traditional wine boundaries. I think by challenges wine boundaries, they mean acceptability. If by challenges you mean completely alters the state of wine, then sure. That's what was said. Pretty wild. So by definition, wine is an alcoholic drink made from fermented grapes. I mean, I guess there are some decent fruit wines out there, even jalapeno wine, but that's usually not brewed from, it isn't fermented from jalapenos. It's probably juiced with, like jalapeno juice is added to the wine. This is tomato. Sounds more like watered down Bloody Mary with a pizza seasoning, and that's probably what it is. It says a bold red showcases a velvety texture that hints at basil, oregano, if you're in the UK, or oregano, or you mispronounce it entirely like I just did. And a whisper of garlic, making it an ideal companion for Italian cuisine and particularly perfect alongside a hot, fresh pizza. Each sip of this limited edition release tells the story of innovation and tradition coming together in a glass, making it an ideal companion for your favorite Pizza Hut pizza. It says Irvine Winery. Amazing. All right, let's keep moving. Hennessy apparently is going to be bottling in China, and Hennessy workers are going to strike over Chinese bottling plans in a bid to circumvent Beijing's anti-dumping levy imposed on brandy and cognac. LVMH-owned Hennessy said that it would trial bottling its product in China, prompting hundreds of French workers to go on strike. In October, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce, or MOFCOM, said it would impose provisional anti-dumping duties against imports of European brandy in retaliation to the EU approving additional duties of up to 35% on Chinese electric vehicles. With China being the second largest export market for cognac after the US and the industry's most profitable territory, accounting for $1.7 billion in exports last year, the tariff is predicted to have lasting effects on market dynamics. One way to circumvent the tariffs would be for cognac producers to ship the cognac and have it bottled in China. So this is what's going to happen in the United States. And the only people that are really going to pay for it are you, consumers. So, and I really wish that Google would stop tagging my videos as political when I say stuff like that. It has nothing to do with politics unless you say that everything is politics when you say anything about an administration making plans to tariff the shit out of everything. So, hate to break it to you, that's not how it works. It's not political. George Collins over at the Spirits Business put the article together. In a bid to circumvent Beijing's anti-dumping levy imposed on brandy and cognac, LVMH-owned Hennessy said that it was going to trial bottling its product in China, prompting hundreds of French workers to go on strike. So yeah, they're going to send it over to China so that there is some business being processed in China so that they can do whatever the fuck they want or whatever the frick they want with the given product. Hopefully it will be monitored closely. Anyway, there's more over at the article at thespiritsbusiness.com, so go check it out. The next article, and the second to last article for today's Time Machine episode, I'm going to do another Time Machine episode, and then we're going to idle for a little while and prep for tonight's non sequitur news. Boy, forgetting what's going on here. Easily distracted. That's why it's called non sequitur news. So this next article is over in Late Night Geeks. You have a few hours left to bid on the burned out Husk in San Francisco. I have no idea if it's still going. Houses in San Francisco are notoriously expensive, with the average home price hovering around $1.26 million. It's no wonder that a fire-ravaged shack is selling for $300,000 in one of San Francisco's southernmost neighborhoods. Saw at least 20 people tour the property this weekend. This is 2 weekends ago. The San Francisco Standard says potential buyers were asked to make a bid. So this is what it looks like. Basically, you're paying for the land because there's nothing that's going to be recovered. It looks like it's barely even land. But it's over at TechCrunch.com. Connie Loizos, or Loizos, put the article together. And potential buyers were asked to sign a liability waiver before stepping into the building's scorched remnants, notes the outlet. It's a fixer-upper gem, which is complete bullshit marketing. Of course, buyers in San Francisco are used to even ramshackle buildings costing a small fortune. A 122-year-old Victorian advertised as the worst house on the block sold for nearly $2 million. Yeah, time to move away. Let's move on. And our last article is over in Reality Hacker. The Norwegian company blamed for California's hydrogen car woes. A civil fraud case reveals that the hydrogen fueling stations promoted by Toyota, Shell, and Chevron never worked in the first place. And the article is over at wired.com. And it says here that a case involving allegations of fraud against Oslo-based Nel ASA is moving toward a trial in October 2026 after a California judge left intact the core claims brought by a major player in the rollout of hydrogen infrastructure in the state. Iwatani Corporation of America, a subsidiary of one of Japan's largest industrial gas companies. This is the actual company that has the ability to roll out hydrogen fuel-based vehicles or provide the hydrogen fuel, but something hinky is going on here. The allegations center on a lesser known aspect of the blundered rollout. Iwatani is claiming that Nell duped it into buying hydrogen fuel stations, and the case has provided a window into the extent in which these same stations were provided to and promoted by major players, including Toyota and Shell stations that have since been abandoned or shut down. The judge's ruling last month leaves Nell and its top executives, including current and former CEOs Robert Boren and I think it's Hakon Valdel, in the crosshairs. Iwatani's central claim is that Nell, under pressure to sell money-losing product, knowingly induced Iwatani into purchasing untested hydrogen fueling stations with false assurances of the company's real-world readiness. Nell denies the allegation and has put forward procedural arguments to get the case thrown out, saying that California does not have jurisdiction over the company or its executives. This would single-handedly ban Nell from ever doing business in the United States. If you can sit there and say, well, California doesn't have control over us as a business. Now, if you're doing business in California with business partners in California, and you're subjecting the liability to domestic partners, and you're saying, well, they don't have anything, blah, 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 you're looking for some serious shit. So the judge ruled that there was active concealment, citing examples including that Nell did not disclose the fact that it had never built a working model of the H2 station, nor sufficiently tested it in real-world conditions, and had no actual data to support their H2 station's performance claims. Now, Nell could sit there and say, we provided information about the plan, and that Toyota and others shall jump the gun. So at the time, Toyota was pushing for more fueling infrastructure to support the uptake of the Toyota Mirai, one of the earliest light-duty consumer hydrogen fuel cell cars to hit the market. Chevron had contracted Nell to create 16 stations, but did not provide a response on the status of the stations. The extent to which Nell provided the technology for these major players has not been previously reported on. But we have actually reported on Toyota and Shell talking about and even showing technological innovation about Toyota hydrogen fuel technology. So I'm hoping that we switch to at least hydrogen and get away really from the lack of portability in electric vehicles. EVs are a flawed concept. They really are, but it hasn't dawned on us yet, because when power goes out, you're screwed, right? Power goes out in your neighborhood, you can't charge at home. Power goes out in the region, you can't charge. And electric cars can't just, I'm going to generate my own freaking power. It's not how it works. This article is quite extensive. I won't be able to do it justice by reading on. You'll be able to, at least right now. I mean, I could probably do an entire episode on just this, and maybe we will in time. But at any rate, go check it out. It's over at wired.com. But with that in mind, today's episode for November 20th, Time Machine episode, is done. And what I'm going to end up doing is rebooting my hydrogen vehicle, because it's still electric. And that'll bring us to the front page of ohmTown.com, where you can go and become a citizen. I'm going to reset and take a break, have lunch, and come back and do another Time Machine episode after the Time Machine cools down. So see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. I'm still on.